It's a Different Gravy went for home, 150 metres to go. Aptly named, it's home. Different Gravy, 3 lengths, 4 lengths in front. And Zara sits quietly, eased down one by a length and a half. Far too good.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. We're proudly sponsored by Ladbrokes and Punting Form. On my own again, with Walt still celebrating the Japan Cup. Calandigan was an emphatic winner and won for the ages, so he's lucked out there. So GK is the super sub for Sydney, and we've had a little bit of a weather delay, so we've pushed back to Sunday. How are you, GK?
Yeah, going well. Was able to find a winner in Walt's absence last week, so that was a good result. Yorkshire straight to the lead and, yeah, getting the job done. So that was good. But, yeah, interesting that they've moved this meeting to Sunday. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, I saw Gay's tweet about it, which I thought was interesting, where she was kind of pouring cold water on the whole thing of moving it. Maybe there's a little bit of politics bubbling beneath the surface there, which drove some of that as well. But yeah, look, I guess it gives us something else to do on Sunday afternoon.
I think their best play their best chance to get it away Saturday was have all the races run and won by 1 o'clock. So it'll be a different feel, and the fields aren't even that crash hot anyway. So I don't think it's going to move the needle too much from a turnover perspective. But Nico Noonan, how are you, brother? You're here, there, and everywhere. You're on fire on .com. Your insights were fantastic yesterday. Can definitely feel the class rise. We might be a bit biased here at Little Birdie TV, but plenty of chit-chat in my racing channels that they're loving having you on there. So well done, mate.
Yeah, I was just subbing in there yesterday. I didn't find many winners, which is probably the main thing I need to do, but we can always live for next time. Ballarat Cup Day this Saturday, so spring is well and truly over down here in Victoria. But yeah, looking forward to Saturday. I think the Northerly is an intriguing race for sort of how you want to line up that form with a bit of different form there with King of Light coming through the Guineas. And then, yeah, as GK said, Rosehill on Sunday. It's actually my Bucks weekend this weekend. We're heading over to Adelaide, so I might need Bagman's full set for MORPHETTVILLE. But Rosehill into Hong Kong Sunday does whet the appetite a little bit there.
Outstanding. What a great destination too. Hindley Street. It's got it all, Adelaide. So I'm sure Beat the Bagman will now slide into the Bet Doctor chat and give you a couple of tips. And I don't think they'll have anything to do with horse racing, but well played and enjoy that one. Different Gravy was the big hit in the mates mode. I was multing everything into it all day. It set up some great multis with Hot and High later in the day in Ascot. Now that horse is Queensland Derby bound. Seems like a sensible target for Henry, don't you think, Nico?
Yeah, I think that's a really suitable target for him. He looks like a 2,400 metre horse any day of the week of what we've seen so far. So, yeah, I think there's a good upside to come. The rating was pretty strong for that quality of race, and it was similar to Observer. He was pretty eased down that last 100 metres. It looked like there was a fair bit more in store. So I think off those ratings, he would have put himself in the placings in the Victoria Derby, which is, a good lead to say, well, he'll measure up next time in. So I think we keep following him.
Yeah, Yorkshire was quite impressive. Now he's favourite for the Ingham, so it was a good find there. GK Flying for Fun was absolutely hammered, so happy we chimed into that one also. She's a hustler. I thought it was really big, a big win. Still had to sort of come across heels and no drama with that shifty track. It bodes well for a pretty good winter carnival with the Q22 path, similar to, I guess, half yours. Can she take the next step, Nico? I know you nearly got the lot. You potted her out of the yard and then you bet up on Light Infantry Man. So it looked good for a very long way and then you just got sausaged.
Yeah, she was just too good in the end. I sort of potted her because I think she's not the finished product yet. I still think there's a lot more upside to come with her, just with how she sort of handles herself on race day. It was her first run at 2,400. As I said, she was a bit held up. When she goes, say if she wins the Q22, that might sort of hurt her Caulfield Cup chances, but she just runs nice races in them. She's going to carry, a lightweight in a Caulfield Cup and would look like one of the main players of what we're seeing so far. So, yeah, she's just got plenty of upside to come. So I don't think we've seen the best of her yet.
GK, this is your wheelhouse. You're a filthy futures player.
Well, it's going to be very, very strong Doomben Cup Q22 next year. Like we've seen half yours is going to target that. You would presume Golden will send Dantino back towards Doomben Cup path. So look, all roads lead to Queensland, as they should do. That carnival just sort of goes from strength to strength in terms of, setting them up for, a really strong spring.
And the boil over in the west with Libertad, J Mott. What now for Joker's Grin is probably the bigger point. P. Carberry was all over his mouth, gave him an absolute horror steer, bad spot, went to the rail. Just needs to head east, needs to find a new stable, and B, desperately a new rider. Like, he can't just go around for 3 races a year.
Yeah, I think that may be their plan going forward, to sort of bring him over for maybe a TJ, or Queensland would probably suit him. He seems really good on dry ground there. I think he heads to the Gold Rush, which is next week, I think, so the last week of the Pinnacle. So I don't think Libertad goes there, but I think Overpass is there. There might be a few from the North who look to head that way. He's still, I think, the early favourite in that race. So maybe 1400 he finds his best. But he seems the horse is going to need everything in his favour from now on in. And the market hated him. He was a big drifter. When we did the show, they were, $250 each or 2 pretty much. Overpass starts $210 and he was, I think, $4 late.
Yeah, I went down with the ship. I know GK was the same. Couldn't believe that Overpass was so short, given he was a little bit weak in his races late, and that happened to be the case. I know you thought he might have gone a little bit too slow, but there's just something in that last 100 metres of Overpass that isn't. He's just sort of lacked his killer punch. Speaking of lacking killer punch, there's a couple of these. There's what's happening in the pattern committee. We talk about it a little bit, and I think it is relevant for punters because if they can clean up programming, like Victoria are now starting to do with the scratchings, they're starting to fall in line with the other states. Even though we're still getting mass scratchings in Sydney. If they tidy up the pattern, I think everything else will fall back into place and they can rearrange the prize money so it's a little bit more, fair and equitable across the pattern. But Andrew Hawkins tweeted about an hour ago that these are the races that would be downgraded under the Asian Pattern Committee, and it's hard to really argue. And I'll put it to you guys if there's any that you disagree with here. But Sydney Cup to a Group 2, the same for the Metro, the Railway, the Adelaide Cup, the WATC Derby, the Herbert Power, the Launceston Cup to listed, and then on a warning it'd be the Vic Derby, Queensland Derby, Australasian Oaks, so that's SA, and then the Winterbottom Stakes would be under a warning to a possible downgrade to Group 2. And I think it puts the onus back on the trainers. If you want this status, start moving your horses around and put him in the good races rather than sit and pick off the easy targets like the Gringotts and the pop-up sort of frenzy that's happening. There's so many options. So support the classic races and support the stud book and support the industry. What do you think, Nico? Any disagreement there?
Oh, I think the downgrade of Victoria Queensland Derby looks a bit rough potentially on the cards. I can't really see why that's needed in those races. I think they're definitely worthy of the Group 1 status in my book. They've been that for years gone by, so I can't see why they'd get downgraded. Sydney Cup, maybe the one that looks a little bit out of place. Like, I think it's deserving of Group 1 status. It's the only other 3,200 metre Group 1 in Australia. So, the others you could probably make fair cases off their recent sort of field sizes and the quality of their fields. But, yeah, probably the derbies I don't think need to be too much on the line there. They're just the horses you can't really determine the quality of the field. It's just the horses that are around those years.
Fair point. GK, any thoughts or any opinion on any of it?
Look, I definitely think that things have got out of control with obviously both the pop-up races and New South Wales, their determination to turn all of their races into Group 1s or, worth millions of dollars. Like that's just having a massive negative flow-on effect, not just in New South Wales, but across the entire country, right? Where, states like Queensland, which are, is the third jurisdiction, I would say, in Australia, they're trying to have to come up with additional funds so that they can attract horses from New South Wales as well to be here for some of their races. So, that makes things really difficult, puts additional pressures down the line. On the Queensland Derby, I think it's been poor for a number of years. I definitely would not downgrade the BRC Derby, but the Queensland Derby has been poor for a while. And I think they need to do a bit of a rethink about the conditions of that race and whether they want to change things. I don't know whether they want to play around with distances or they want to play around with other conditions. I don't know what it is. Like, I've said previously that maybe they need to think about, in a jurisdiction like Queensland, going to a Hong Kong model where the Derby is actually for 4-year-olds. I don't know. I think we need to just be open-minded and consider a whole range of alternatives to make it a more attractive race for the best horses to be knobbed.
Yeah, I think if the rest of the world's laughing at us, it's probably time to just get to the table and figure it out. Be interesting to see what plays out because, there's plenty of heat in the New South Wales kitchen yet again, and it's no surprise why things are the way they are. For us, there's no mates mode action this week, but yes, we'll have one, and our final one for the year. And the Gold Rush last week was awesome. Tipped so many winners in there. Everyone had a great time. And then, we went a little bit wet and wild for the last couple of races at Perth and still managed to find a $13 shot out of the yard in the last race. So it was an epic. It was 8.5 hours, but I'm sure everyone in that pot will go straight back in for next Saturday. It was a blast, but took the wind out of me a little bit. Being on and up and going for 8.5 hours, let me give you the tip. Let's have a quick look at the weather and move along with the show. Ballarat's all clear, but there might be 3 mil in the morning. Doomben's clear. It's clear in Morphettville for Nico's Bucks. And then you got Rosehill on Sunday, 11 mil in the morning, right through till 6 o'clock. So they can't win a trick in New South Wales. Could be a bit of karma from the big fella upstairs. But Ascot is clear also. No win, which is important. But the track has been favouring those in sort of the first half of the race. So make sure you check that one late if the wind does pick up. Today's show is going to be a beauty. We've got Ballarat Cup, as Nico alluded to. Again, Walt's in Japan. So GK Super Sub for Sunday at Rosehill. We've got the Ascot feature, the Northerly, and then the George Moore Stakes at Doomben, and Shane Adair's FIFO again. So he'll be back next week for the final show, he tells me, but he's a bit of a fibber because he said that he'd be back this week, and he isn't. His tips for Morphettville on Saturday, or two of his best bets, are the Parks track, race 6, number 1, Out of Square. That one looks like it was absolutely flying off a forgive last time, so is now in the mix here at $3, and then he's fishing in the short end of the market again for race number 9. It's number 11. It's Extinguish, and it's drawn 1 also. So usually it's leaderish at the Parks track. Nico, let's have a look at Ballarat and get stuck into it. And the first race you're going to have a look at on Saturday is race number 2. It's the MHS Group Handicap, and market courtesy of Ladbrokes is Actuality $4.40, Gracie's Reign $4.80, Legacy Bay $5, Swift Harriet $6, also nominated in Adelaide, Dollar Shot $9.50, Marigold $10, and you got Sea Poem at $11 and Cuisine $18. Much better the last two in the market there, but Marigold is the horse that you like in the green and red, and this is its last start at Cranbourne, buried on the fence.
Yeah, this was just a car crash. So she jumped in front and then sort of ended up midfield. There's probably runs for her back towards the inside there, but Stockdale elects to come out. She's second fastest last 200 of the race. This is a much stronger form line than any other horse brings in here. Good Girl was dominant first up, backed it up. Gumdrops keep you cool. Come out with some good races, Melbourne Cup week. So I think the form lines are just stronger. The run prior looked like a bit of just a clean out for that race. I thought she paraded outstanding in that field, and she just didn't really have an opportunity to show what she has there. I think if you go back to her best form, even sort of first up this campaign, she splits Don't Hope Do and Grand Larceny. He won over Cup Week. My Temptation was there. And then even through her form lines of last campaign, like she went on just a winning streak, splitting Popper Wardens and Waddies. Like she has some, stakes class form lines around her. Unlucky last start. Look, you do get the apprentice rider here, but I think she'll probably just head back on this mare. And if the track's racing fair, well, I think she's going to be coming down the middle. There looks good pace in the early stages. And I think she's clearly the best horse of what we've seen throughout her career. And I just thought she was way over the odds at $10 some places in early markets. Like, I just think she has a significant class edge on her rivals and hasn't really had anything go away her last two. And the first up run was fantastic. So surprised she was that price. I'll be betting up at the price. I think she's probably a place moral and really keen at $10.
Legacy Bay, danger? Or of anything that's inside the market that's scary, I'd say Legacy Bay's the one that sort of catches my eye instantly. Nico, thoughts?
I just didn't know about that Caulfield race. Like Gracie's Reign wins it. I know Legacy Bay was only sort of early in the campaign there, first up, may improve here, but I just don't think that that's like the strongest form line here. I thought outside of that, like Sea Poem was really unlucky in that race, but sort of she only won at Bendigo the run prior. Like, I feel like it's not that far above midweek grade races, and Marigold's got Stags class form around her. So I think, she does have a class edge on her rivals.
I love the fact that she's going to get to that big Ballarat track for sure. GK, any thoughts here?
No, not from me.
Okay. Yeah, I actually think the price is pretty crazy here, Nico. I'm sort of seeing what you're seeing, and you guys might be cheering completely early. All the runs this prep have been fantastic, and 1200's another big tick on the big track. So might be early Bucks Day cheers if race 2, number 3, Marigold hits a line, and I don't think the price will last. I think $10 will definitely go off despite Hannah Edgley riding. Race 7 is the next one. It's a Ballarat Volkswagen Tonks plate over 1100, and market courtesy of Ladbrokes is Carbonados is $3.20, major share $4.60, South of India $5, Wigham $7.50, Clabell $14, Contemporary $17, and Bases Loaded $18. Carbonados is also a dual nomination up in Sydney. Nico, horse you like here is Major Share in the blue with the white sleeves, and this is it running second.
Yeah, you got Ray Magnerio back in the field here. Prairie Flower. Both have gone outstanding since. I don't know what they're both doing on this occasion, especially Prairie Flower. But anyway, Major Share. He ran well here. Stokes she's absolutely flying, this mare. They missed last week, I think, maybe because they thought the track might have been too wet. So he comes to this event. Tom Madden really clicks with this horse. Carbonados is in Sydney as well, and I think we might preview that race. I don't know. I don't think Carbonados is that good a horse, to be honest. I know he gets right down in the weights here, but he only won at Swan Hill last campaign. He's been hit and miss. Maybe they've found the best of him, but Major Share's got some really rock-solid form lines around him. He's pretty bomb-proof. He settles on top of the speed. He runs well more often than not, and I thought this race really set up well for him to win. Outside of him, like you're looking at South of India, first start new stable. Wigham, another horse over from Adelaide. We've got a fair few of them in Victoria this weekend. I just don't know how strong those form lines are. So I thought if Carbonados is here, Major Share has a really good chance to beat him. And I thought if Carbonados is out, Major Share is probably a moral, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Wigham might be a bit dangerous with 50 kilos after the claim. Jockey's pretty scary though. But yeah, definitely like the strength of the form line. GK?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the Carbonados replay. It was really strong through the line at Randwick, but I kind of felt like it was a bit of a Nash special where it was, and I'm always wary of when Nash, is off one of these things where he just stands over them. And it just seems to be with Carbonados, you just need a really strong rider. Not that Williams won't ride it well, but yeah, it was a bit of a Nash special and it was strong through the line, but I did wonder 1100, like that was a bit of a query for me too. So yeah, I'd definitely be with Major Share.
Outstanding stuff. All right, Major Share, $4.60 at Ladbrokes. Race 9 is the feature of the day. It's a Ladbrokes Ballarat Cup. It's listed as a 2,000-metre event. Kingswood's favourite, $5. St George, $5. Air Assault, $5.50. Poison Chalice, $7.50. Detonator Jack, $9.50. Berkeley Square, $11. Casino, $17, $12. $15 Statuara. Much, much better the rest. Let's have a look at a couple of the key lead-ups here. This is the St George Kingswood. Obviously, both of those horses are grey, charging down the outside. And the roughie I didn't mind here, Nico, is in the orange, Shahir, and we all know what he's like.
Yeah, I think he's Flemington only, Shahir. He doesn't seem to run any good at any other track. It's a tough race to line up because I don't think there's much between Kingswood and St George. Kingswood there was a protest thrown in there, which luckily was dismissed for me because Kingswood was one of my best results of the carnival there. But I think Kingswood just maps in the right spot here. He's probably going to get the right run. Yeah, as I said, there's not much between him and St George, but St George is probably going to have to go back and circle the field. And outside of them, Air Assault looks the fresh horse on the scene, but can he get a strong 2,000 metres? That's my query. Poison Chalice, Detonator Jack have somehow been found, 15 to 950 Jack, and Poison Chalice 10 to 750. I thought they were both pretty poor last week. Berkeley Square, maybe the one out of the box. He's looking to go back to back in the Ballarat Cup. Here he is in the Geelong Cup. That's probably the query. Is he still sharp enough at 2,000 metres? A lot of his recent racing's been 2,400 metres plus, but his class is definitely going to take him a fair way here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I sort of went looking for something just outside of the market. I couldn't really split the top three. Like I thought Jason Holder gave Air Assault a bit of a barrier trial last start. I just couldn't understand why they didn't go forward. Just basically gave Sabaj the race. I thought the horse went really well, but just got out sprinted. So I think they need to go forward on him. And I sort of started to come back to Berkeley Square because I just don't think 2400's his go in life. And I think 2000's his pet trip. And then just edge off the track, and any sort of extra rain on the morning will definitely help. And he's not really one of my riders either, Luke Nolan, but he's definitely kicking a couple over the line, and he's got some sort of level of confidence at the moment. And $11 just seems like an inflated price versus a lot of these. And Shihaya from the Bussett and Young camp, I think that just looks like a setup job. It looks like it'll peak here, but yeah, I'm wary, and I respect what Nico says. He's got no real tricks up his sleeve, and he's just a bit of a one-dimensional horse. But I thought $31 versus a couple of those shorter prices of the favourites, he sort of stuck out to me as a bit of a knockout roughie. But yeah, it's not a great Ballarat Cup, but yeah, it's an interesting race, and you're getting a price if you're really keen on a horse. GK?
No, I'm sick of all these. I've divorced a lot of them. I think I've backed every single runner in this race about 10 times, and I'm just bored of them. So this would just be a watching race for me.
Pretty fair comments as well. They just seem to go round and round. Nico,
what was the Glens to say? They're on the carousel. That's this lot. They just spin around every week. This lot.
It is a good day out there at Ballarat. Had some cracking Ballarat Cup. So good luck to anyone that's out there. It's going to be a fun day, and it's a great day on the town later that night as well. It's a fun place to go out, Ballarat. Nico, your yard will be in hiatus then on the Saturday. So when can all your yard followers expect you to surface from the Bucks?
Next Wednesday we'll be back. So we'll probably push right through to Christmas and New Year. We'll be kicking on. So looking forward to it. It's a good time of year to bet. So hopefully we can get a few results.
Nice bone hard dry track. So let's hope they continue to run straight. Let's have a look at Sunday Rosehill GK. And I think you've picked the worst two races that I could think about betting in, but you're going to tackle them anyway. So the first one is race number 6. It's the Catnax Jewelers Handicap over 1,100 metres, and Hawker Hall is $2.60 favourite. Crepe Myrtle, $2.90. Carbonados $5.50. App and Girl $9. Dollar Magic $11. Hanau $12. Plundering $27, and then Flight Crew $46. Handful of these runners are first up. We go for one of the first up runners here in App and Girl. This is interesting in the pink, ex-Brisbane horse, out the back. Joe Pride, quiet trial, GK.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've watched this trial a few times, and Nash has got it under the double group here. They just do not want to let it go. And the first trial, they showed a little bit more. So, look, I think it might be going sneaky well. I know this mare really, really well. She has really strong form, hasn't had a lot of luck. I'd say probably in the last 2 or 3 preps, but she is explosive. She's got an incredible turn of foot. I think probably the track, depending on how much rain we get on the morning, I think it'll probably be about a 5. Maybe we get to a 6 if it gets too bad, but I think that'll be okay. I think she might be ready to explode here, and ready to show something straight away. And I think $9 is a really good price. She's one that I definitely want to have something on in this race.
Yeah, my query is if it gets to 7 or 8, I sort of start to lose my chubby for that runner, but I can definitely see that it looks set up to go really well here. Carbonatus is the horse that we just mentioned before. It's in the blue and yellow, and as you say, strong ride, just goes through the gap. Here's Nash and makes this lot look pretty secondhand.
Yeah, and so this was Cup Day, and you see Nash. He pushes his way through, and look, it's strong through the line. If it is here, I did have a question about the 1,100. That was a bit of a query for me coming back to 1,100 against some of these. So interesting. I think I'd probably be prepared to take it on here at 1,100 against some of these, which I think might be a bit sharp for it.
Crepe Myrtle's the other one. It's the Godolphin. It's just in behind the leader here. And what'd you make of this?
I think it's a good win. So the horse that gets past late here, Swordplay, comes out and walks in yesterday. I think the horse is just flying, to be honest. I look at this and the setup. There's potentially the map could be a little bit sticky. It sort of depends on what we end up with final acceptances. But There's a chance it could probably get to 1-1 here. I just think that this race, that the favourite is totally the wrong price. I cannot believe Hawker Hall is the favourite in this race. I want to be completely against it. So, I look at this race and I want to back Craig Myrtle and I want to back App and Girl. So I'm just like chips in Joe Pride, and I want to attack Hawker Hall. I think Hawker Hall is, a decent on-speed horse that'll just whack away. Like the run first up for this prep, when it got beaten by Spywire, it was a fine performance. But I think this is harder, and I want to be with the Pride horses here.
Okay, setup job for Joe back in the stable. Nico, any interest in this race?
I'm always intrigued when Joe's found. Well, I'm my new favourite trainer, according to Walt. So Joe in a blue jacket, that's got me a little bit up and about. But yeah, I just think Carbonados is such a chinky horse. Like, he's off season every day of the week. I think he needs a strong rider. He needs a few things in his favour. And yeah, Timmy's probably a right sort of booking there. But yeah, I think he's just chinky. So I'm happy to take him on in either race wherever he lines up. Hopefully here, because I think Major Share's a good thing if he doesn't go to Ballarat, and Crate Myrtle really sort of appealed to me.
The only other roughie that I could find in the race, I did a few laps of the race, especially with the weather around. I thought Dollar Magic might be the one for exotics that could show something fresh and definitely likes to cut out of the track. So I'll be keeping it safe in sort of exactas and multiples. All right, let's have a look at the next race. It's Rosehill Race 8. It's a Ladbrokes handicap, 1,400 metres, and it is wide open, this one. Grid Girl, $7. Tuned, $7. Mikey's Medal, $7.50. Just Party, $8. Pee Beach, $8.50. Wind Chat, $9. Chicken Mojito, $9.50. Marymount Buller, $10. Stylish, $11. Midnight Opal, $11. West of Africa, $12. $15 or better the rest. Gee, the bookmakers got no idea, and I'm probably with them. Let's have a look at a couple of replays here. And this is a trial. You got Wind Chat leading, goes like an absolute Learjet, and then see the baldy face in the OTI colours, widest of screen. That's West of Africa. GK?
I loved both of these trials. I didn't really want them to turn up in the same race, but I thought both of them were awesome trials. We know all about Wind Chat. Like, this horse has good ability. It's got good toe. It just sometimes doesn't come out of the barriers. So it's obviously a bit of a head case. So, you got to factor that in. But look, I think if it comes out of the barriers clean, it's going to be right in this race. So I definitely am covering Wind Chat. And West of Africa, I think we're going to see the same sort of story we saw last year, where they set it up for the Magic Millions races, and that prep, December, January, a year ago, it was absolutely fantastic. And I just love this horse fresh. And there's good tempo in this race. And, from where it's drawn, I can see it sort of peeling to the middle of the track, and it's going to be absolutely steaming late. So look, I am definitely covering those two in this race. I'm quite keen to back both of them.
And here's the other replay at Newcastle. We've got Just Party. This is a horse that just was wide the whole way. It's in the pink with the baldy face. You got Midnight Opal in the Oz Bloodstock colours. You got Marymount Buller just sort of have a quiet one in the Bray green just in behind them. It was a very quiet ride on that horse, in fact. And this is an interesting race. It's just an interesting 1,400 metre race to see who's going to be sort of strongest. And yeah, I agree. With Wind Chat leading, they're going to set it up. West of Africa, I can see it absolutely rattling home, and you can excuse all those three runners in that replay, GK. So it's a great race to reference.
Yeah, look, that Newcastle meeting and that race, like we sort of talked about that meeting last week, where it was rails on fire, right? So I wanted to find Just Party, but like, where does it get to from the map here? Like, and is it going to be able to rattle home over the top of one like West of Africa? I don't think so. I just think it's found the wrong race. Just Party. Marymount Buller was up the inside, but that was like a travelator. Like, we saw that last week with, a whole range of horses, where I think that the performances were slightly exaggerated. So I think that's probably the case for Marymount Buller. Midnight Opal, it actually got off the fence and made ground. So maybe it's the one you could take out of that race. But I just think that, that's a form line that, it is the main lead up, but it's a lead up that I actually just want to attack. to be honest, and I want some DF. And I just think Winchat and West of Africa bring the right DF. They've got form lines which are very deep when you go through their pages, and I think they'll be ready to go here.
Yeah, and you got to mention that Just Party's drawn 16 and Marymount Bull at 18, which is just completely diabolical. But who knows what's going to happen if the 11 mil hits and this edge comes off the track. Nico, this is right back at you. You give us these 2,000 metre plonker races, and here's a 1,400 metre 20 horse field in Sydney on a possible wet track. Like,
yeah,
cop that.
This looked a nightmare. And then you got Grid Girl and Stylish with, that head up the market with no riders, and they're both in Melbourne in different races.
Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just bet.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare for early betting at least. Geolliptical is a fascinating runner. Like he runs second in a Spring Champion to Sharp and Smart and second in a Guineas. If he had won those races, he wouldn't even be racing anymore. He'd be worth 10 million in that stud. But he since went to Hong Kong. He was in that lead up where he was okay late, but he probably wants 2,000 metres before he can do something here. Yeah, I think Stylish is going really well, but I reckon she'll be in Melbourne. So maybe she's one to watch out for in the last at Ballarat.
All right, just the curveball completely. I'm going to wait until track conditions, but good luck playing that one. And that's the sort of race that could wreak havoc with the quaddie. So make sure you do your quaddies really late at Rosehill. So it'll give us something to do while we watch the golf roaring home on a Sunday. So good day to be hungover and watching the races on Sunday. Walt might be back Wednesday, might be back Thursday, not sure, but our last show is next week for our Thursday show. So Bet Doctor last episode next week. And either way, it'll be GK or Walt. And that'll tie off the year nicely. I think it must be the Ingham. And so that'll be a great race as well. Let's have a quick look at Doomben and Perth, and we'll get through these relatively quickly. I'll only do Doomben quickly just because he's one of our show horses. We've got Hidden Wealth up the top of the market in race 8, the George Moore Stakes over 1,200. He's $3.40 Hidden Wealth. Cabalus is $3.60 off that heavy failure in Melbourne. You got Periel, $6. Tav, $6.50. Epic Proportions, $8.50. Natuno, $18. Lubrication, $19. And Cosmic Fire, $23. We'll do a full preview on tomorrow's Bris Vegas show of the Quaddie Leagues plus best bets, but just wanted to remind everyone about the little ATM machine in Tavs, and this is his replay over 1,400. And gee, he bolted this day to GK, and Safrado's on the inside there in the white and red, and it's gone and run really well at the Hunter, and he was just trucking 3 wide the entire. And not that he's really beaten much here, but this horse has just gone to a new level, in my opinion. And some of those horses at the top of the market look pretty good, and they're really good over, I guess, 1,100 metres. But this horse with so much speed engaged up front, I think he's going to be something to hold out. And I can't believe he's drifted. When markets first went up 550, snapped that, and then saw $6. Was tempted to back that, but the 650 sort of hanging out at Ladbrokes. This is going to be a big result for me.
Yeah, look, I actually think he might have even been over the top in that last run at Eagle Farm. Like, I was against Tavs that day because I thought, it was an interesting prep, and I don't really like following horses out of that Toowoomba meeting. It was just arrogant. It was so arrogant. And I actually think on the fresher side is better for Tavs. And we just get the perfect setup here. He's drawn 10, and there's so much speed because we know what's going to happen. Like Epic Proportions, the way it's been running its races and setting up its races recently is just to, try to run them ragged. Well, you're going to have Hidden Wealth there as well, and there's going to be plenty of others trying to suck up behind them too. And he's just going to get dragged into the race, and you can see it exploding. I think $6.50 is a ridiculous price, absolutely ridiculous. I think it should start with a 3 or a 4.
1,200 the key, hot tempo. Cosmic Fire is probably the other horse knockout odds that might be a forgive, GK.
Yeah, potentially. Wonder whether maybe the targets are probably a little bit down the line, so they'd be thinking of the Gold Coast races, I'm pretty sure. So that might be more what they're thinking there. I think Cabalus is short enough, but it also gets a good setup here. Like, it's going to be probably around the same spot where Tabs is, and I can just see those two just storming down the middle of the track. So, look, if Cabalus drifted, I would think I'd probably end up backing both Cabalus and Tabs here. And I want to attack Hidden Wealth and Epic Proportions.
Nico, any thoughts?
Yeah, it looks a deep race, doesn't it? With Tavs, who's airborne. She's sort of just been flying recently. And then Cabalas, you can forgive that run in the Champion Stakes. Good form with Libertad coming out of the same race and winning. So, look, he sort of I think he'll stand out to a lot of punters. So, if you're really deep into the Queensland form, you might get good prices about the local horses because I reckon a lot will gravitate to Cabalas.
Yeah, 56.5 kilos flying Tavs. I'm willing to take the price, and I think the Curryarda got plenty of money too. How dare you take it on last start, GK? Lucky the Bris Vegas episode hadn't even kicked off before those last starts, so there could have been a bit of a mutiny there. Me and Walt would have just tore the grandstands down. Full Greta.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I had you beat, to be honest, on the turn. But Huxtable was sitting pretty, and just ran away from them late. So look, the horse is airborne. Not sure what they've done, but they've got it flying. So look, really interesting, and I think an important race for them to work out where they go with it, moving forward, like not just for the Summer Carnival, but even, what do they target potentially next winter? Is it a Stradbroke? I mean, maybe that's the plan.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it will be. Can't wait for that one. So the ATM goes around. Tavs each way, absolute morale. I'm saying, let's go to Ascot Race 8, the Group 1 Northerly over 1,800 metres. And this is an absolute pearl of this race. King of Light, $2.30 favourite. Cosmic Crusader, $5.50. Missed out on the railway. Some say he would have won it. Vivier, just defying gravity, this thing. It's been in the Chamber of Secrets and now starting to run 1,600. And now 1,800 seems to be well within its sights here at 750 or so, the market says. Western Empire, $8 gets a big weight swing. Watch Me Rock had the PR last time, so the market's clued onto that. 950 Apulia from Melbourne, back from the abyss. Looked like anything as a 3-year-old. And then you got Pure Excess, $19. Diamond Scene, 23. And then you've also got Depth of Character out of the market there. Let's have a look at a couple of replays. The first one is King of Light and the WA Guineas. 6 in running with the yellow and the blue cap. And thought this was a decent win. He still had to sort of pick his way through the inside of runners there and showed a bit of character to sort of like push through. And it was a much slower race. I think they went like a second slower compared to the railway. But it was good work nonetheless, I thought. And he does get the 3-odd allowance. We'll probably need it to beat these, stepping up to 1,800. Not sure if it's going to be to his liking or not. But here's the railway replay as well. We've got Depth of Character. He was sort of 4 and 5 wide at stages. And poor old Reece Jones, that'd be one to forget. You just see Watch Me Rock speared at the front there with the green and the blue. And that's Western Empire just sort of coming off heels and running into second. There's a couple that sort of like flash late here, but I was interested to see in the puntingform.com.au data that Depth of Character still run the fastest last 200 of the race. I was sort of a little bit shocked and surprised. And the big switch for Depth of Character now drawn 2. So he gets a complete reversal there. And Western Empire gets the big weight swing on most of those runners in the railway. So I think they're the 2 horses that you'd take out, Western Empire and Depth of Character. And then the other horse that I referenced earlier, Cosmic Crusader in the pink. He's got the perfect draw now in barrier 9. So Clint Johnson Porter rides. He just comes around the leader's heels here, and he just strikes me as a horse that's going to eat up 1,800. Just love his big action, and I don't know why, but ratings people were trying to compare the 1,400 to the 1,600 and whether he would have won it. Maybe they were just bored on a Monday, but regardless of the fact, I think he comes here at $6, and I think he's one of the horses to beat. The last replay we're going to have a look at, there's just so many different form lines here, is Apulia, and I'll let you talk to this one, GK. You can see Detonator Jack back on the inside, but Apulia is there in the blue with the yellow with the blue cap.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to watch this replay for the 20th time, given that I was on Detonator Jack. Look, I mean, what can you say? Look, it was really positive to see Apulia attack the line like this. I thought this horse was gone, not long ago. So, look, encouraging performance. I have no idea why it's $20. I presume MAP. I thought that was a ridiculous price. I mean, I'll just say that my view on the race that I just don't know if King of Light is actually any good. Is it much chop, or is it just beating up B grade Perth horses. I'm not sure. Like, I think the jury's out a little bit. Like, looks a really nice horse and, really progressive, and I know that there's like the history of this race where they always want them on the minimum, but I just there's no way in the world I could find King of Light in this race anywhere near this price. So look, the 4 I'm going to back are Cosmic Crusader, Apulia, Vivier, and Depth of Character. I want that Cosmic Crusader form, and then I want the Eastern State horses, which I think 1800, they're going to eat it up. There's strong form. Vivier, that run in Sydney last start, that was got up the inside, but it was still good. I think that Apulia form line, that's strong. I think that will measure up. And Depth of Character, where it's drawn, it's absolutely insane price. So that's the 4 for me. I'm happy to play all 4 of those against the 5.
Yeah, Nico?
Yeah, it's intriguing, isn't it? See, I think it's the last 5 of the last 10 years. I'm pretty sure a 3-year-old has won this race. So GK sort of mentioned they like getting him in light. He gets 52 kilos. The market does seem a fair way ahead of him. Like, what is he now? Sort of 240. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a lot better come race time, just given his ratings aren't superior, even when you adjust them for the weights. Like, they're not superior to his opposition. So there's a huge chance you get better. I was sort of in agreement with Apulia. Like, he seems a big price here at, nearly $20. Like, he does have a sticky map to overcome, but he's in the same boat with a few of them here. So if he can get the right sort of run, I think he'll be strong late. But when I sort of went through the race and I thought, Pulia's got a chance, Depth of Character's thereabouts, the only horse I think really going places out of this race is King of Light. So if I got sort of 280, 290 come race day, which I don't think's out of the realms of possibility, I probably would back him. I just think he's got so much more upside than his rivals, and this is probably a race where you look back at our little pattern discussion and you think, is it a real genuine Group 1? He's probably the horse that can make it that when we look back in 12 months' time. I don't think there's anything else really going places that are really big. So King of Light, potentially best horse, but I want a better price. Apulia, probably best result.
Yeah, interesting. My theory with King of Light is I think he might be a better 1,400 metre horse. So I think the 1,800 could bring him unstuck, but the horse that screams to me that he'll gobble up 1,800 is Cosmic Crusader, and I think he should be favourite, and I'm bullish that the $6 just cannot possibly last for Cosmic Crusader. I think he should be somewhere in the $4 mark, if not shorter. And then the other horse that you just have to back that'll just get the suckiest of run ever, and I'm just not sure if 1,800's his go, but it's just going to be complete switch with Depth of Character, and he doesn't have Reece Jones. I think he's got Chris Parnham on as well. So barrier 2, he just won't know himself, Depth of Character, and he might just poke his sort of nose out at $23. I just have to chase my money from last week. I thought $14 was big last time, had no luck. But yeah, Cosmic Crusader, I think it's one of the best bets of the day over there in Perth. So I'll be watching the races late, and hopefully you can still see the races, Nico. It's going to be a massive day at Morpheville. It's going to be a massive day all around Australia on Saturday with still some good races. There's still a bit of wag left in the tail here, and I think it's going to be a pretty good Saturday despite no Sydney. I think the Sydney card's a little bit ordinary anyway, and I could probably poo-poo Sydney with Walt not here anyway. But that's a wrap from our show today. As I said, we've got the Bris Vegas show tomorrow, so we'll be going more comprehensive through the Doomben card, and the weather's finally good, so hopefully Doom plays really straight. Nico's yard's on a spell, so he'll be back next Wednesday for his yard tips, and then GK at Brizzy Form Guide if you want more of his stuff. Big thanks, boys, for both your efforts today, and good luck on Saturday. And big thanks to Ladbrokes and Punting Form. And we'll see you next week for our final show of the year. What a year it's been and how fast it's gone. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website